Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The Prime Minister responds to those controversial comments made by the Liberty CEO.
We speak with the father of that 16-year-old boy who allegedly took his own life. A retired priest weighs in on plans for pride events in the Bahamas.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Top of news tonight. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis revealing in the House of Assembly today that Liberty Latin America CEO Balan Nair has apologized for his recent comments about the Prime Minister and Bahamas telecommunications company employees, which have widely been condemned. His response was prompted by the opposition leader's call for Minnis to defend himself and Bahamians. Jasmine Brown reports.
Prime Minister broke his silence on the controversial comments more than 24 hours after the video clips made the rounds on social media.
Minnis told parliamentarians that he received a call from Liberty CEO Balan Nair, who apologized to him and Bahamians for the comments he made in a viral video.
The CEO, Balan, who you're talking about, called me on my cell, and he apologized for if the office of the Prime Minister was insulted. That was never his intent. He apologized to the Bahamian people.
Minnis insisted that in addition to the verbal apology, he told Nair to put it in writing to the office of the Prime Minister and Bahamians.
I told him that I think it would be fair and wise if he would send an official letter of apology both to the office of the Prime Minister and the people of the Bahamas.
The Prime Minister's response came in Parliament after opposition leader Philip Brave Davis questioned if Nair should be placed on a stop list. Davis also insisted there was no way a foreigner should be allowed to speak like that about the Prime Minister.
You should not allow yourself, by foreigners coming and talk and display such broadside. That's for us to cuss. Let me, as a Bahamian, cuss my Prime Minister.
You shouldn't be doing that anyway.
Let me do that. Not for any foreigner but into our business.
Davis and Minnis were responding to comments made by Nair during a meeting with Liberty's Jamaican staff. Video clips of the meeting were widely shared on social media. Nair said the performance between Liberty's Jamaican subsidiary and BTC is like night and day. He also claimed that during a meeting with Minnis last week Monday, the Prime Minister was unable to look BTC CEO Garfield Sinclair in the eye while bringing up the issue of Bahamians being employed at BTC. The story was met with light laughter from the crowd. In Parliament, Minnis clarified what took place during that meeting, saying what was said in the video does not accurately reflect what actually took place.
I was very firm that we will not tolerate our call center and Bahamians losing jobs, closing call center and moving it to Guyana, that the government will not tolerate that. And the government is very upset with information that we're receiving that senior officials within BTC are being replaced for foreign entities. That is most concerned, and we will not tolerate that either. And there was some rumor that individuals were being cherry-picked to be dismissed, and that is not done in the Bahamas.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Police in Grand Bahama say they are aggressively investigating the death of a woman whose body was discovered with stab wounds in the trunk of a vehicle this morning. Authorities have taken a 20-year-old man said to be a family member of the victim into custody. According to police reports, officers were called to a business establishment on East Beach Drive around 8 a.m. after the woman's body was found in the trunk. EMS personnel were called to the scene and pronounced the woman dead. Well, the father of a teenager who allegedly committed suicide says his son was a fun child who wanted to start taking more responsibility. Jared Higgs has the story.
I felt like I could do more, and I know you guys could do more, and just please do it.
37-year-old Cornell Edwards Sr. says he is heartbroken by the loss of his son. 16-year-old Cornell Jr., who was allegedly found hanging from a rod in the closet of his Faith Avenue North home on Sunday.
It was hurtful at that time.
Edwards says he was alerted by his son's mother shortly after 6. He sped to the scene and says he did all he could.
I immediately tried to resuscitate him because I didn't think, something was that bad yet.
Edwards Jr., affectionately called CJ by friends and family, was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say they are investigating the matter as an apparent suicide.
He's a great child, very active. We're always busy when he's with me.
The 37-year-old tour operator fondly remembers spending Father's Day with his son at the pools at Atlantis. He says he was proud that his son, a 10th grade student at Anatole Rogers School, was starting to talk about providing for himself.
He was at the age of 16, so, he was going to start to ascend. And at that point, you want him to ascend the right way.
Now the older Edward says that he last spoke to his son just a few hours before he allegedly committed suicide. He says his son told him that he had plans to go to the beach. Edwards Jr. would never make that beach trip. When asked whether there were any signs that the teenager had issues, the grieving father pointed to a family dispute.
I knew that in the custody battle, he wanted me to win it, that he really wanted to be with his father. And I knew that he wanted to start to do some work for the summer. He wanted to work for the summer to provide his own school supplies. That's what he was talking about recent. That's the most recent thing that he was talking about.
He had this final message for other fathers out there.
Please be aware of your children and keep them close in. There may be battles.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
The government is creating a new investigative agency to shut down illegal gaming sites. This new arm of the Gaming Board was outlined in the amended gaming bill tabled in the House of Assembly today. Julian Gray reports.
After months of consultation with gaming house operators, the government tabled a new gaming bill in the House of Assembly. The government has forecasted that it will collect $50 million in revenue from the industry. Responding to concerns that an underground industry could emerge, the Attorney General said the bill also provides for the creation of an investigative agency within the Gaming Board that will prosecute illegal internet gaming sites.
The Gaming Board is now joining the ranks of regulators that have powers appropriate to the functions they're expected to perform, so they're able to do their job and protect the Bahamian public, the Bahamian economy, the Bahamian financial system from unlicensed, unlawful, illegal, internet-based gambling by midnight cowboys and persons who are placing bets illicitly on other gambling sites on the internet on behalf of others. Okay? Anyone can do what they want to do with their own phone. Anyone can do what they want to do personally. But when you make it your business to take this phone, go around and solicit bets and place them illegally on a foreign betting site or whatever, then you're breaking Bahamian law and you're money laundering.
Bethel added that they will have to recruit investigators, former police officers, IT personnel, and other specialized experts to the Gaming Board to ensure it runs smoothly. The Gaming Amendment Bill 2019 outlines the new tax structure which the government and gaming house operators agreed to following a court battle and months of negotiations.
We worked very hard on it. We did a lot of research. We had a lot of consultation as the best way to structure these taxes and the way to impose them.
Instead of the controversial sliding scale tax that required operators to pay up to 50% in taxes on their revenue, the new bill proposes a 15% tax on up to $24 million in revenue and 17.5% on revenue over that figure. Government will also tax patrons 5% on winnings up to $1,000 and 7.5% on winnings above that amount.
How do you apply it fairly when you have too large and the rest small in terms of turnover? That's the first problem. The second problem is that there's a further subdivision in the industry. At least one player is 90% only in lottery games. So there are questions of how to avoid a disproportionate impact on one while also spreading the burden across the whole industry.
Debate on the bill will commence Thursday in the House of Assembly. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Amid plans to launch Pride Bahamas next year, one outspoken church leader is calling on members of the LGBTI community to respect the Bahamas' Christian principles. Our News intern Kate Natalie reports.
They want us to respect them as to who they are. They must respect who we are and therefore do not come here and believe that they can do as they wish.
The Bahamas is a Christian nation, and anything that is done should be guided by those Christian principles, which should be upheld and respected, says Rector of St. Agnes Anglican Church, Father Ranfilly Brown, who was asked to comment on the plans to launch Pride Bahamas in May 2020. The week-long event will feature activities geared towards the sensitization and education of the LGBTI community in the Bahamas.
Our way of living, our Christian principles in this country must be respected and upheld. And if anything contrary to that, fire in the hole.
Following reports that the country could be hosting a Pride event next year, many Bahamians took to social media to share their views. Organizers have insisted Pride Bahamas would fit the country's culture and climate and denied any suggestion that members of the LGBT community would be parading in the street. Brown cautioned the government to be wise.
The Christian church will stand firm and stand strong. But we have to wait and see how they come. Let's see what the demands are. And I trust that the government will be wise in understanding that the government lives here. And anything that is contrary to our understanding of Christianity comes with consequence.
Father Brown says while Bahamians should respect the way others live their lives, the same respect should be given to the country and its citizens.
This country is a Christian nation and is guided by Christian principles. And anything I believe that is done ought to be done within the confines of our understanding of Christianity. We welcome anybody as long as they come and respect what is Bahamian. And good luck to them, spend lots of money, and then go where you come from. That's it.
Although no plans are set in stone, Pride celebrations are expected to take place next summer. Reporting for our news, I'm Caden Natterley.
All right, thanks, Caden. Well, while speaking with the Tribune newspaper, Water and Sewage Board Director Bennett Minnis doubled down on a recent voice note that made the rounds on social media, lambasting the Progressive Liberal Party and using homophobic and racist terms to describe some of its leaders. We warn you, this report contains what some may consider strong language. Giorgio Bain reports.
Just look at these PLPs in Clarendon, Long Island. Had I known that there was going to be up there, a group of us was going to put a blockade on the entrance to Clarendon to keep the African monkeys out of Clarendon. And what y'all in Long Island for? Nobody wants you all. Long Island people don't like you all. I don't like you all. Never will. Fred Mitchell, you friends taken up there. And this little ugly monkey, Brave Davis.
Minnis was condemning the presence of the Progressive Liberal Party, who held a memorial service for Sir Henry Milton Taylor in Long Island last Thursday. At the party's special call meeting at party headquarters Tuesday night, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell responded to Minnis's comments.
So since you know so much about it, you must know what you're talking about.
Mitchell said that they expect the government to deal with this matter immediately.
This is a man who is a public official. He serves on the Water and Sewage Corporation Board. If this had been Sir Lyndon Pindling and one of his members of the board had done that, he would have been gone within seconds. And the only reason we're not pushing the issue right now, I sent the matter to Desmond Bannister, the Minister of Works, but he is in mourning because his mother died. But once that mourning is passed, we expect the government to deal with this man, Minnis.
Mitchell said as a Bahamian, he isn't afraid to travel to any island, and he dares Minnis to try and stop him.
After this convention is over, we going to Clarence Town. And we can see what you can do. You try and eat sugar honey iced tea. You'll see what happens. You try it. I'm a Bahamian. I don't go anywhere in the Bahamas.
Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right, thanks, Giorgio. Still to come, Bahamian artist Sly Roker killed in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Plus, there's a new deadline for the Grand Lucayan deal. Stay tuned.